Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our interview with Cyrill Schmidt. Cyrill is a member of Group Innovation at ABN AMRO Bank in Amsterdam. He has background in quantitative analysis, financial derivatives pricing, software development, risk management, and model validation. Cyrill, thank you for coming to our interview today.
Thank you for inviting me. Good evening.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So, Cyrill, you have started in Group Innovation at ABN AMRO recently. Can you tell us what does innovation means for a very established bank brand like ABN AMRO, and how banks are fostering innovation these days?
For ABN AMRO, we see a certain danger in the competition that we are getting from financial technology companies, and that might lead to traditional banks such as ABN AMRO becoming extinct in the next 5 years or so. For that reason, we would like to think about new products that we could offer our customers such that we stand the competition from fintech companies. Our innovation works according to a certain method that was developed inside ABN AMRO, but actually we are going to open this method to pretty much anyone who is interested, because this method has proven itself to be so efficient that we would like to share it with the world.
Interesting. So when you incubating innovative ideas, can the teams involved operate with different conditions? For example, more autonomy, fewer KPIs, or what are your kind of major steps? Like, are you involved with startup community? Do you run hackathons or crowdsource innovation? What are kind of steps in your process?
We actually do both. We are involved with startup community. We do have our own startup, or we cooperate with a startup incubator called Techstars. Next to that, we are looking for innovative ideas inside ABN AMRO, which is what Group Innovation does. We are looking for new ideas and we test them. We try them out, small scale, then if it goes well, try them out, bigger scale, and so on, until it becomes a successful venture. When it becomes a successful venture, it can stay within ABN AMRO, being assigned to one of our business lines, or even we can consider spinning it off.
Mm-hmm. So do you open also your platform for third-party developers?
Well, right now we don't have much of a platform, but we are open to cooperation, say, with startup incubators.
And can you give us some examples of the recent innovations in the banking sector? Not specifically, maybe not specifically for you if you don't have, but maybe just some examples.
Well, fairly old example of a successful innovation of ABN AMRO is certainly Tiki.
Oh, Tiki, yeah, I know.
For some more recent examples, well, it does happen that at some point we think that the venture is not really fitting the strategy of ABN AMRO, and the venture would be better off on its own. So this, for instance, happened with Deliver, the blockchain-based platform for tracking delivery of goods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is now on its own.
Is it Deliveroo or something different?
No, it's just Deliver.
Ah, Deliver. Oh, okay, okay. So I know Deliveroo, this is kind of mainstream platform. Yeah.
That's right, but we as ABN AMRO, I believe, have nothing to do with Deliveroo.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it is normal for innovation to be ahead of regulation, but when innovation is too far ahead, it's not longer normal and society will suffer. So do you have your opinion on regulation and how it influences innovation in banks?
Well, I do, and my opinion more or less agrees with what Jack Ma once said. Jack Ma is the founder of AliExpress. Um, what he said in Finance Summit in China was basically that the current regulation or current European regulation, European and American regulation, is more or less a hindrance to innovation because the regulation as it exists now, is designed to support the sort of old banking system, the aging system, which in quite a few years has become increasingly complicated. For that reason, the regulation is also extremely complicated, and when you innovate, you most of the time don't even have the time to go through all the regulation. If you want to be quick, you need to react to the market needs, and in a typical startup situation, you just don't have time or resources to go through all regulation that might or might not be applicable to your situation.
Yeah, yeah. So there are, do you think this in the regulation behind with regards to digital currency or just in other application as well? Or what are major breaks on what progress do you think?
Let me start with the regulation that I'm best familiar with, which is the capital requirements.
Uh-huh.
We had Basel, then Basel 2, 3, and 4, and each of those Basels is more complicated and longer than the previous one. That in some way reflects that the banking in itself has become more complicated, but it doesn't have to be that way. I would love to see a new regulation to become simpler and easier to understand than the previous version of that. But the Basel Committee, in my view, have chosen another way. Instead of trying to simplify the existing regulation, they put bits and pieces on top of the existing rules, which is not only inefficient, it just makes it difficult to follow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what is the strategy in general for open banking? So kind of creating an online marketplace, offering both the banks and third-party products. So for example, last few years, some competitors like Revolut for accounts, Wise for payments, or Lending Club for credits pop up. What is kind of bank can match to these propositions?
Well, I'm afraid I'm not ready to answer that.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Your first question, you answer that you are heading, you are not you're a member of innovation group, and you are trying to implement all these innovation strategies that will address these issues. Okay. So
Well,
in
what
terms,
we try. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go.
What we are trying to do, we are is creating new value-added services to our customers, such that we can do something, we can make something useful, and provide services that people are ready to pay for. Not necessarily um, creating a global payment platform or a global lending platform.
Mhm. Okay, just for your customers and make them make their life more easier. Okay.
That's
So
correct. We are focusing on our existing customers in the first place.
yeah. So in terms of finance itself, developing countries are continuing to inject cash to their financial system, and especially Wall Street and also in Europe. What is your opinion on the consequences of this? Just personal opinion, not to be have to be a kind of your ABN AMRO strategic policy.
Well, by all means, all I say is my personal opinion, and it may or may not correspond to that of ABN AMRO. Um, it is difficult to foresee the consequences of pretty much any action in financial markets. So I'm very cautious of making forecasts in this area. Um, what I often see, to my great sadness, in developing countries is that um, they are governed by either corrupt or totalitarian regimes. And in such a regime, people get the jobs, their positions, not because of their qualities, but because of, say, their loyalty to the leaders, which consequently means that those people might not be the best people to deal with finances. But then again, um, I I cannot say that I would foresee any consequences of what is happening now, just because in finance consequences are very difficult to see in the in advance.
Yeah, because there are some people saying that we are in the middle of some great bubble, and everything, the asset price is now kind of inflationary asset prices, and also currencies inflating very rapidly. So and a lot of bad predictions that we are kind of in the middle of something that is not yet known. But we've been there, I think, several times in our lifetime already.
That's quite correct. We are in the middle of something that we do not really know or understand, and it there is still the danger of a next financial crisis. I cannot deny that. Point is, I do not think that anybody can accurately forecast when and how this financial crisis will begin. For that reason, I'm critical of, say, what Basel Committee is doing with regards to capital requirements,
Mm.
because it has not been proven that the requirements they impose on the banks now would prevent the next financial crisis or even make it less severe. Still, the Basel Committee sort of has an upper hand in setting rules for the game, and there is very little criticism or very few organizations that are brave enough to utter criticism on the policies that Basel Committee is imposing on banks. Or, well, not the Basel Committee per se, but the European Union in consultation with the Basel Committee.
Yeah, because we are still in this framework of Bretton Woods finance based on, I think, 40 years of, started 48 or something like this. And still our finance system is based not on modern information age, but probably in production or in industry age. So yeah, it's kind of to the policy guys to define when there is a new system in place. But for me, it seems that until we have a good crisis and a lot of value will wipe out from the market, we don't get to the new system.
Yes, that's more or less what Jack Ma said in his speech, that the Western finance system is fairly old by the standards of the day, and the regulation is just trying to support the outdated finance system. By the way, Jack Ma was severely reprimanded for what he said by the Chinese government, not because he criticized the Western financial system, but because, well, it looks like he did not provide enough reverence to the Communist Party of China.
I think I read your article that you sent me about Jack Ma, but I think he cited, quoted a few times his, what was it, a leader, what is his name? Who or something?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping, yeah. I think he not made he didn't make many quotes of them, maybe just a few, right? All right.
Well, anyway, there was something in his speech that made Chinese authorities cross with him, but I believe that was not this bit that we have just discussed.
Okay. Thank you for your kind of view on this. And what is your personal point of view as it relates to innovation in principle? And how should banks approach this?
That's a very difficult question because if I knew how to approach innovation really, then I would have been very rich.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, no one knows. What we do, we just try different ways and see which one works. Which one is going to work is a matter of chance and luck just as much as it is a matter of hard work and competence.
Mm-hmm. But is it not the same as kind of investment companies that have about like 100 investment and they count over 1 or 2 making 100% return, and the rest 98% they kind of ready to put to zero, and they still will get results?
Oh, that's for sure. Indeed, we work on plenty of different ideas, and as time goes by, we select the ideas that are most likely to become a success. And what we are trying to do is we're trying to kill ideas sooner rather than later, because killing an unpromising idea soon would allow us to funnel this time and resources into something different, which might prove to become better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, I have one question. I ask this all my guests. How we at global risk community, from your point of view, can contribute to this complex world of finance risk and digital digital innovations?
Well, like any social network, by spreading knowledge and disseminating experiences of people,
All
and
right.
by connecting people to each other.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we're trying to do. All right. Thank you. If I ask all my question, if I forgot to ask something that you would like to answer, please go ahead.
Well, I believe we have covered pretty much everything that I wanted to discuss.
Okay. Okay. Then
Thank
I
you
would
very
like
much.
to thank you for your time for your interview and freely conducting your opinion with us.
Thank you very much for your questions.
Absolutely.